The ring Frodo Baggins inherited from his uncle Bilbo is indeed the One Ring. After conferring with the wizard Gandalf, Frodo decides to leave the Shire and take the ring to Rivendell. Hello, and welcome back to the Line Unbroken, my series in which I'm playing through each of the scenarios of the Lord of the Rings living card game in turn, using only cards which were available at the time of the release, in imitation of the existing LOTR LCG progression series. Although, with this video, I have finally come to a quest which came after the progression series stopped. Technically, of course, I have gone slightly out of order. They did do Assault on Osgiliath, but I decided to start the campaign at this point because there's a nice narrative break in the Against the Shadow cycle after Encounter at Amon Din, which there isn't after Assault on Osgiliath. So, here we are. For this video, I am, of course, beginning a Saga campaign, Lord of the Rings Saga campaign, with A Shadow of the Past. So, here we have setup, set Buckleberry Ferry aside out of play, add one Black Rider to the staging area, and make Bag End the active location. Shuffle the encounter deck. And the campaign mode setup, attach Mr. Underhill to the Ringbearer, add Gandalf's Delay to the staging area, shuffle Gildor and Glorian, and the ring draws them into the encounter deck. Shuffling things into the encounter deck happens by default. Here is Mr. Underhill, and here is Gandalf's Delay. Of course, unfortunately there isn't... Gandalf's Delay isn't, like, automated like the other things are, so I've obviously just had to do it manually, so I have seen what the top card of my deck is when I took my mulligan, and then I've just had to put it back. But it didn't affect... well, I chose to take a mulligan anyway, so having seen the original 6-card hand rather than just a 5-card hand. Yes, I guess there's flavor text here as well. The Shire. You may be seeking for it now, if he has not already found out where it lies. Indeed, Frodo, I fear that he may even think that the long unnoticed name of Baggins has become important. So, that is the opening hand for this deck, if you're curious. Without further ado, let us begin. Frodo's friends insist on joining him in his adventure, but danger finds them sooner than anticipated when Black Riders appear in the Shire. When a player fails a hide test, each Nazgul enemy in the staging area engages that player. Trigger forced effects after resolving this effect. The players cannot advance unless Bag End is in the victory display. So, Bag End lets us draw cards for each Hobbit hero we control. Black Rider triggers a hide test when he enters play, cannot have non-Morgul attachments, and after the engaged player fails a hide test, makes an immediate attack, which means if you fail a hide test, he will engage you by the effect on the quest card, and then make an immediate attack. So, let's begin traversing the Shire and trying to avoid these Black Riders. Okay. So, on this side, let's play Build a Pony for free, because the cost is lowered by 2 if you control Sam Gamgee. Let's pay 1 for Out of the Wild, since we start in secrecy. Look at the top 5 cards of the encounter deck. Okay, that's interesting. Crows are not that big a deal. I can kill them pretty easily, so I'm not so worried about those. Black Steed, that would cause the Black Riders to engage me and then return to the staging area if I didn't kill them straight away, so that could be problematic. Piercing Cry, of course, would bring in additional Nazgul. So, Hang on. I'm just going to check one thing. Right. Yes. I was just checking that, of course, the hide X keyword only triggers when a card is revealed, so Pacing Cry does not trigger the hide test. So both of these are problematic. I think I'm actually going to get rid of the Black Steed, because being able to control when I engage the Nazgul is an issue, and this surges, which the other does not. So back to the victory display. Let's see, I would quite like to have this thing. Well, actually no, I suppose... I doubt I'll be in a position to kill a Black Rider this round, whatever I do, so keeping the feint just as a precaution against things going horribly wrong may be a good idea. Now, there's the question of the Snowborn Scout, but I don't necessarily want to clear Bag End straight away, because, well, Bag End has 3 quest points, and the quest has 1 quest point, and the second quest stage will immediately give me another Nazgul. And so I'm not sure I want to go straight on with that. I want to dilly-dally a little bit, so that I will be ready for the additional hide test. And so on this side I think I'm playing nothing. So there is 4 threat in the staging area. So let's see, we can quest for 2, 4, 6, 8, readying himself with a resource. That should be okay, I hope. Did I remember to shuffle the encounter deck after doing Out of the Wild? I did not. So let's put that back, shuffle the encounter deck, and then reveal Road Like a Gale, returning each engaged Nazgul to the staging area. If no enemies were returned to the staging area by this effect, it gains Surge. Peril Hide 2. Okay, so the hide test is taken by the first player, so I will exhaust Sam for 3 and build a pony for 1, and we discard 2 cards from the top of the encounter deck for hide 2. Which are 4, but hide tests, unlike some other tests, if you get equal, you still succeed, as I recall. So, it's just enough, and so the when revealed does nothing, because I have not failed the hide test this phase. And now, deck 2 reveals a card, which is the same. So this is going to cause me some problems, because I am questing too well. I am going to make the 4 progress that I need to advance to the next stage, and advance to the next stage. So, well, let's just see. I'll go for 3 on the hide test, and fail, which means I remove characters from the quest, which means I'm only questing for 4. It also means that I've failed the hide test, and thus the Black Rider engages me and makes an immediate attack, which will have to be undefended, which will kill a hero. And of course he will attack me again in the combat phase, and I have I am now questing for 4 against 0, which means that this happens, advancing me to the next stage, giving me another Black Rider. There we go. Which is revealed, meaning I make a hide 2 test, so I guess I'll have to exhaust Merry, discard 2 cards. Okay, that one's successful. Right. However, I have a dead hero over here in the first round of the game. And this is not really how I had in mind for my campaign to go. I don't really have a good way of dealing with this Nazgul in the long run, is the other problem. Because as interesting as it might be to carry on my campaign being immediately down a hero and see how well I could struggle on, I don't think I'm going to win the quest at this point under these circumstances. So let's just try this again. Okay, so let's try this again. Save text, etc. So let's just begin our new first round. Right. So let's once again play Build a Pony for free. And let's hold my tactics resource for halfling determination. And so that will be it. Over here, let's make Aragorn the Steward of Gondor. About to give him 2 resources. I want to hold my spirit resource for a test of will, and so that will be it. So, once again, we have 4 threat in the staging area. Don't want to make too much progress. Where's for 2, 4. Perhaps I should just go for 6. I'm just going to go for 6. Actually, I mean, the odds of me getting 0 threat are not high, so I will do the same 8 as last time. So reveal. Okay. This is feeling hauntingly familiar. But let's exhaust 4 willpower and discard. Alright, so as it stands, I'm failing by 2, but there is now an action window in which I can play Halfling Determination, choosing Sam to get +2 to all his stats, crucially willpower, meaning that my attempt at hiding is now 6 willpower, which is the same as the threat here. And just to be sure, I am also going to pay 2 for Shadow of the Past to put this pathless country, that it is technically at this point at the top of the discard pile, back on top of the encounter deck. So, I reveal the second card of staging for this deck, and oh look, it is the Pathless Country. 2 threat, meaning I make 2 progress. I do not clear bag end, and I do not advance the quest. I can't travel to the Pathless Country because bag end is still in the way. Don't really think that I want to engage this Black Rider, so I will not. And that will be that. So let us control N, shift Frodo over here, exhaust Steward, and draw a card on this side. Alright. So now I still want to save for this test of will. Unfortunately, I am a bit short on leadership cards, but we'll just have to hope that clears up. And over here, let's put down this Dagger of Westerness. And, well, let's see, I could use a Snowball Scout to clear bag end, but I mean, my chances of not advancing are not high. So perhaps I should just accept that I will advance and figure out how to deal with that. To which my answer is, I'm going to spend 5 resources for Gandalf. Draw 3 cards. I found 1 leadership card, and so now Gandalf will be helpful for hiding with. And that being the case, I will also play this Snowball Scout, place 1 progress on bag end, and add it to the victory display. So now, after these play, each player draws 1 card for each Hobbit hero he controls, which for this deck is 3. And for this deck is currently 2 Frodo and Fatty. Okay, now these are the things that I really want. So, alright. There is 6 threat in the staging area. So request 2, 4, 6, 8. Ten. And this deck reveals. First player must either exhaust the 1 ring or raise his threat by 3. I will choose to exhaust the 1 ring. And Surge, Green Hill Country, and the card of this deck, Stock Road. So I've added 5, and I'm actually not advancing the quest at this point, which I would really like to. So there are a couple of possible things I could do here. I could use Fatty's ability to discount the threat of the Black Rider, but I'm wary of that because it would start pushing me closer to having to engage that Black Rider. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to play a good harvest naming Fellowship. Because it just says name a sphere. That can include Baggins or Fellowship if you're playing the relevant quests. An important point to note is that this is not game-breaking in the same way as the pre-errata Navi's belt was, because it doesn't actually give you the icon. So the relevant point here is it allows me to pay resources from any sphere for Frodo's intuition, which I will do, giving each of my heroes +1 willpower, and thus 2 more willpower on the quest, and draw 1 card for each Hobbit hero you control, which is 3. Okay. But this allows me to play Frodo's intuition, but if I controlled Frodo at this point, it would not allow me to trigger his ability, because technically the wrong way around, not that it matters, because the resources are still not Fellowship resources. They are merely allowed to be used to pay for a Fellowship card. The same would apply in the Hobbit scenarios, and perhaps even more significantly there, because there were special quest mechanics requiring you to spend Baggins resources. So you could use a good harvest to play Burglar Baggins or the Lucky Number, using resources from any hero you felt like, but you couldn't pay for those quest effects with them. So now I'm questing for 12 against 11, so I make 1 progress and advance. As Frodo watched, he saw something dark pass across the lighter space between 2 trees, and then halt. It looked like the black shade of a horse led by a smaller black shadow. The black shadow stood close to the point where they had left the path, and it swayed from side to side. Frodo thought he heard the sound of snuffling. The shadow bent to the ground, and then began to crawl towards him. Fellowship of the Ring. When revealed, the first player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a black rider, reveals it, and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. When a player makes a hide test, add 1 to the total threat for each ally that player controls. And when a player fails a hide test, each Nazgul enemy in the staging area engages that player. So let's find another black rider. Shuffle the encounter deck, and I will exhaust Gandalf and Fatty for a total of 5 willpower, and hide 2, so I discard 2 cards. Right. Yes, 5 willpower. I've discarded 5 threat, plus 1 for each ally I control, which is 1. Which means I'm currently failing this hide test. I'm not sure if there's anything I can do to fix that. I'm going to play Daron's Runes, just on the off chance that I draw something useful. Well, useful, but I can't afford it. And I suppose I should discard Bill. There's nothing I can do to increase my willpower. Which means that these engage me and make immediate attacks. Which means I'm looking at a dead hero again. randomness. Even, I mean, I could use Mr. Underhill, but that would only stop one of the enemies, one from Nazgul, and the other one would still attack me twice. So, I mean, maybe I can try this one. Alright, one more try before I give up and leave this for another time. Got a pretty good starting hand here, although unfortunately I can't play all three of these at once, which I would very much like to. And over here I've got Steward and I've got Calabrian Stone. I've also got Campfire Tales, which is nice, and Test of Will. And Sword That Was Broken. I've got pretty much everything I want in this hand. Campfire Tales is nothing special, but still reasonable. So, alright. Now let's put a Hobbit cloak onto Sam. And let's put Protector of Lorien. Would be a good idea. This deck would definitely not be able to use it this round. No, maybe Fast Hitch actually would be better. No. I'll put a Rivendell Bow onto Aragorn, of course. And then, yeah, I'm playing one of these lore cards. I'm just not sure which. Let's start with Protector. That's probably a reasonable idea. So Protector of Lorien also onto Sam. Let's just give him a little more space for his attachments. Now over here, Aragorn will of course be the Steward of Gondor, and he will have Calabrian Stone. There we go. And that will be it for that deck. So now, 4 threat in the staging area. Let's quest for 2, 4, 6. I may well actually leave it at that. So 6 with ring. Exhaust the 1 ring or raise threat by 3, and it surges. Not that bothered by the threat raise. Danfurlong. Okay. And the card for this deck is a Black Rider, which immediately triggers a hide test, of course, or I could use Frodo's ability to get rid of this Black Rider and hopefully get something else. I quite like that idea because I'd rather minimize the number of Nazgul that I have to deal with. So, I'll spend 1 Fellowship Resource and exhaust the 1 ring to cancel the effects of an encounter card, shuffle that card back into the encounter deck, and reveal another encounter card. Which is still a Black Rider. Okay, so now this deck has to make a Hide 2 test. So I'll exhaust Aragorn for 4 and Fatty for 1, and discard 2 cards, for a total of 1 threat. So the Hide test is very definitely passed. Now, there is now 10 threat in the staging area. So each deck goes up by 4. And that will probably have to be it for the round. So let's bring Frodo over here and control that. So Steward. Alright. So now, let's see, I want to get the sword that was broken down. Could possibly play this Campfire Tales. But I'd quite like to keep a resource so that Aragorn could quest and ready, I think. I think that's a good idea. I'm definitely paying 3 for the sword that was broken onto Aragorn. And yeah, not much I can draw over here that would be really helpful, or here, so Campfire Tales is less of a big deal. Over here, let's play a fast hitch onto Merry. It's Merry or Sam. Merry so that he can quest and then be ready for combat, or Sam so that he can quest and then be ready for a hide test. Oh well, Merry would also be ready for the hide test, but he has less willpower. Still, I think I'll do Merry. And play the second Hobbit Cloak onto Fatty. So it's 10 threat in the staging area. I need to quest pretty well. Let's see. Definitely go 2, 4, 6, 8. Aragorn currently quests for 5. So that would make it 13. And we'll be getting more threat. It's risky, but I'm going to go for the 16. So, Hunting for the Ring, doomed 2, starting with the first player. Starting with the last player. Each player must either return a Nazgul enemy engaged with him to the staging area, or make a Hide 2 test. Since we are not engaged with any Nazgul, that would just mean making Hide tests. But I'm going to play a test of will on that. And the second card, Peril Hide 2. I cannot cancel this with a test of will or with Frodo, because it has the Peril keyword, which means that this deck has to resolve it as if it were this deck were the only player in the game. And all I can do is exhaust Merry and discard 2 cards, discarding 2 threat against his 2 willpower, so that is successful. I've added no threat to the staging area, so I make 6 progress. advance. As Frodo watched, he saw something dark. I read this the last attempt. So, Nazgul number 3 is coming out to play. You shuffle the encounter deck. And let's exhaust. Yeah, there's no real point in leaving Fatty up, because if I fail this test, then I will be immediately engaged. No, I was questing for more, because 2 more, because Balin and Frodo were both boosted. Maybe I didn't need to send Sam. Yes, because if I fail this hide test, I will be engaged by 3 enemies. I can stop one of them with Mr. Underhill. Fatty could defend 1, but then I'd still have 3 more attacks that would cost them out. So, 5, 7 willpower, and I control no allies, so there's no boost to it. We pass by a lot. But now, timing thing, you resolve the quest advancement before actually exploring the active location. It's weird, but there it is. So, that's the victory display, draw 3 cards, and draw 2 cards here. And, well, of course I'm not engaged with any Nazgul, but I will still travel to Ban Furlong to get the threat out of the staging area. We have to deal with some of these Black Riders in the coming rounds. But right now, let's Control N. It comes back over here. What is the top card of the discard pile? I do not want to return that to the top of the deck. So, let's see. Let's play another fast hitch. This one will go on to Sam. I think. Fatty. If I had Arwen available, which I don't, then Fatty would be a good choice, because he could just be a dedicated defender. But as it is, Sam, because he can quest and hide and defend. Or attack. So, I could really do with a Dagger of Westerness. Because as it stands, Aragorn attacks for 3 at range. Merry attacks for 4 currently, because I control Frodo. And Sam would attack for 2. So that's a total of 9. And I need 10 to kill one of the Black Riders. I could hold back Frodo or Pippin from questing, but given that there's 12 threat in the staging area, I don't really want to do that. I don't know, maybe I should have engaged one of them last round. Sam would have readied and he could have defended it. But then, of course, he wouldn't get ready in this round. I could afford to play Gandalf, which would sort out a lot of these problems. It would just leave me with no fellowship resources. Also, no tactics resource for feint. Meanwhile, over here, well, let's pay 1 leadership resource for Campfire Tales before I make any more definite decisions. Halfling Determination solves my dilemma, so that's okay. Now, I could play King Under the Mountain, or I could play Unexpected Courage. I could play both, but then I'd have no resources left at all. Still could be worth it. I definitely want the Unexpected Courage, which will go on Aragorn, of course. There. Okay. Oh, I would in fact be left with one resource. Given my deficit of willpower versus the threat, I want to be able to get the extra action out of Aragorn by spending his resource. So, 12 threatened staging area. Let's quest for 2, 5, 7, 9. 14, 16, 17. Until the end of the phase. Okay. And so this deck reveals Green Hill Country, and this deck reveals Evil Crow. Alright, so that's 4 additional threat. I would like to make 2 progress rather than 1, so that I will clear Banfurlong. So I will discard a card to Protective Lorien, which will be this Rivendell Bow. Increasing Sam's willpower by 1 until the end of the phase, so I make 2 progress. Add Banfurlong to the victory display. Let's then travel to the Green Hill Country. I will optionally engage a Black Rider, which would ready Sam, but he's already ready. He does, however, get his stat boosts, and Pippin causes me to draw a card. Further intuition, okay, that's nice, and the Evil Crow will naturally engage down here. Because even with Pippin boosting its engagement cost by 4, I'm at 31. Of course, worth noting that the Black Riders are currently at 39 engagement cost. Next round they'll be 38, so I have to worry about this deck hitting that level in the near future. So let's deal out shadows here and play Faint on the Black Rider. And since Aragorn has actions to spare, he will defend against the Crow since he's a sentinel. Okay, so it gets +1 attack, that's not an issue. And now, Sam is currently attacking for 2, Mary is attacking for 4, Aragorn is attacking for 3, that's up to 9. I'll play Halfling Determination to boost Mary by another 2. So I'm attacking for 11 against this Black Rider, which is dead. And now I will trigger Mary. Response: after Mary participates in an attack that destroys an enemy, ready another character that participated in that attack, which will be Aragorn. And he will attack for 3 at range and kill the Crow. And now everything is starting to function as it is supposed to function. Let's control N. Frodo comes over here. Exhaust Steward. Play 2 for King Under the Mountain. Exhaust it to look at the top 2 cards of my deck. Well, they're both card draw. So let's just take Campfire Tales, discard the Ancient Madam, and then let's play Campfire Tales. And I guess that's it. Ooh, possibly I should have saved these resources so that I could lower my threat if I got bumped up to Nazgul engaging levels. So, final fast hitch. We'll go on to Fatty. What is the top card of the encounter deck? It's a Crow. I could definitely stand to see another Crow. So let's pay 2 for Shadow of the Past, and put that Crow back on top of the encounter deck. Let's not throw Pippin around. Alright, so now there's 8 threat in the staging area. So let's quest for 3, 5, 7, 9, 10. The socket was broken. 15, 18. We get the Crow and Gildor Inglorian. Fantastic. So the first player gains control of Gildor Inglorian. So we're making 8 progress. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And no, I don't really want to discard to Protector of Lorien to boost that. So now, once again, I'm not quite strong enough to kill off a Black Rider. It's kind of annoying. If I could have Gildor over here, then I could kill off a Black Rider. But I can't. That said, I have spare Fellowship resources, so I can keep him in play, and he will move. I definitely can deal with this Crow. Let's see. I have just the one Gandalf available. Still though. It'd be handy. No, maybe I have to leave it for a bit. No. Okay, so the crow will naturally come down here if I don't do anything to change that. It's just a question of whether I'm okay with these Black Riders continuing to sit up in the staging area. And I probably am. So let's just engage the Crow here. Shadow Fatty will defend. Okay, that's fine. Arnor can kill it. At the end of the round, I have to discard Gildor and Glorian, or spend a Fellowship resource to keep him in play, which I will do. Which means that he will move over to here. As of course with Frodo. So let's draw a card. Use a Steward and King of the Mountain. Let's take Gandalf. So there are no locations in play, so I think I'll save this Snowball Scout. Yeah, so I think I'm not playing anything here. I have potential for Frodo's Intuition later in the round, if it looks necessary. So, let's see, Faramir for more willpower, or Eristor for more card draw. Not to save resources for threat reduction, should it be relevant. So I could do for, I think, Eristor. Discard Steward to draw a Snowball Scout. Okay. So, once again, there's a threat in the staging area. And that's quest for 2, 5, 7, 9. $14, 18, 21. Half its country, and the ring draws them. Okay, so at the end of the phase, each enemy in the staging area engages the first player. The one ring is exhausted. This effect cannot be cancelled, so that's not an issue because the one ring isn't exhausted. I can cancel it if I want to, but I don't have to. The question then becomes, can I deal with both of these? I can use Mr. Underhill. I have a feint. Aragorn, of course, can attack at ranged. I have Gildor. So I'd be attacking for... Well, Sam will get boosted twice. So he'll be attacking for 3. 3, 7, 10. It's enough to kill 1. Merry can ready someone. Either Sam or Aragorn. Now I could attack. They could attack with Gildor for a total of 5, which would put down 1 damage. The third stage. I'm just going to check. The third stage does add another Black Rider. This is an important factor to bear in mind. Tricky. Because then if I have to possibly exhaust Sam to deal with the hide tests. Oh, and of course that third Black Rider would then also engage me. So I'd have to defend it with Gildor. So considering all these points, it's probably best that I cancel this. As much as I kind of want to just man up and face all the Black Riders. I don't know. Because let's see, I could kill one and then I'd still have two. I would of course have drawn 3 additional cards. Then in subsequent rounds I might struggle to deal with all of them. You know what? I'm gonna let it happen. It'll be fun to see how it goes. So, it's 12 threat. I'm making 9 progress, which does advance the quest. After several close calls with Black Riders, Frodo can tell they are hunting him. The Hobbit's only hope of escaping their dangerous pursuers is to cross the Brandywine River, if they can just make it to Buckleberry Ferry before they are caught. We add Buckleberry Ferry to the staging area. While there is immune to player card effects, while there is at least one other location in play, the players cannot travel here. And travel, the first player must make a Hide 3 test to travel here. After it leaves players in explored location, the players win the game. So, when revealed, the player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Black Rider, reveals it, and adds it to the staging area. So where is that last Black Rider? And now, I exhaust Sam. There's 3 willpower to take this Hide 2 test. I did remember to shuffle the encounter deck, and so that's fine. Those are discarded, and prepare this. After a player makes a successful Hide test, place X progress on a non-unique location in play. X is twice the number of players in the game. So I can place 4 progress on either the Pathless Country or the Green Hill Country. So I'll do the Green Hill Country, which explores it, and then at the end of the quest phase, because of the ring draws them, all these Nazgul engage me. Sam readies and gets +3 to all of his stats, and Pippin draws 3 cards. And in the travel phase, I will travel to Pathless Country and play Daeron's Runes. Draw 2 cards, discard a Good Harvest. And now, we come to the combat phase. 3 shadow cards. So, Feint. Add Mr. Underhill to the victory display. This one can't attack. So I have only 1 attack to deal with. Actually, I have another Feint. Unless I want this Halfling Determination. Let's see. If I defend with Gildor, then obviously if he dies it's not a problem. And I can... I mean, he'll just go to the encounter discard pile, and I've got Shadow of the Past. I can bring him back. Sam is attacking for 4. Mary is also attacking for 4. Which means, actually, that with a halfling determination, they could kill a Nazgul by themselves. And Sam would then be attacking for 6, and Mary could ready him to attack with Aragorn, leaving a second Nazgul 1 hit point away from death. On the other hand, if I fainted, then Gildor would join in that attack, taking the place of the half-thumb determination, but then Sam wouldn't be boosted. So, yeah, okay. Gildor will defend. After this attack, the attacking enemy engages the next player, then makes an immediate attack. I might actually let that happen. Balin could stop it, but I don't think it's necessarily such a bad thing for this one to come over here, because then Fatty can deal with the defending. He will gradually lose hit points because he only defends for 4, but if I can find some healing... So, okay, Gildor takes 2 damage, and then it comes over here. Fatty will... yes, we are still below its engagement cost, so Fatty is defending for 4. +1 attack. I think I want to cancel that. Okay, it's still +1 attack. So Fatty will take 2 damage. Now, as I said, Sam is attacking for 4 and Mary also for 4. Now I'll play half of Determination to bump Sam up to 6. 1 dead Black Rider. And Mary will ready Sam. Sam and Aragorn attack for a total of 9. Deal 5 damage to this Black Rider. Can't do anything over here. Discard these shadow cards. And at the end of the round, discard Gildor. And then play Shadow of the Past, put it back on top of the encounter deck. Frodo moves over here, and Control N. Steward, King, top 2 cards. Let's take the Snowborn Scout and discard Gandalf. So, let's play a Snowball Scout. And let's see, I could play this Ancient Madam. Let's discard King Under the Mountain to Eristor to draw a Westworld Traveller. Well, I suppose I may as well play the Westworld Traveller. Let's see. I probably could drop Gandalf. Do I want to? It's a reasonable idea. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, that would leave me. That would leave me unable to play Greeting, which I don't want. So, okay, I'm going to take back the Westward Traveller. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on Gandalf instead. And I think I want to just deal damage to this Black Rider. Because then I think I should be able to kill both. Come combat phase. Right. So now, actually, let's slightly rejig that. Do it that way. So now this deck. I mean, I could play another Hobbit Cloak, but it wouldn't really do anything. I can play this thing on Scout. And that will be that. So, there is 3 threat in the staging area. So that's quest 4, 3, 5, 7, 10. I really don't need to quest that hard, because all I need to do is get the 1 progress on this pathless country. I have another Snowball Scout that could do that. Okay, so I want to quest successfully so as to not raise my threat, but let's see, 3, 5, 7, 8, 11. Maybe 11 that way. That should be fine. Reveal Gildor. Yeah. Definitely fine. So, 11 against 5, I make 6 progress, but hang on. I'm going to use Frodo's ability, because I can't travel to Buckleberry Ferry while there are other locations in play, so I want there to not be other locations in play. So having got a location, I'll try to get something else. Right, have you seen Baggins? Peril Surge, attached to a hero, cancel the condition attachment with the text. When we want hero, after a player failed the hide test, discard attached hero. Sure, that's... This was technically... Oh, yeah, this was technically the second player's card, so I can't cancel it. So let's attach it to Pippin. And it does search. Into a location, of course. Right. Well, that means I can't go to Buckleberry Ferry. So let's instead travel to the Stock Road. Which means, okay, travel, the first player must make a hide 1 test to travel here. So let's send on this hide 1 test. Balin for 3, Fatty for another 2, that's 5 already. 6. 6 should be enough. Yep. So I've successfully travelled to the stock road. Let's see. After a player makes a successful high tech, it makes progress. Now, oh, of course I do add 2 to the total threat because it was still in the staging area. You have to pay the travel cost while it's still in the staging area, which is the thing I'm now considering. It's still in the staging area while I'm doing that, while I'm making the height test. So can I place the progress on it while it's still in the staging area before it becomes the active location? It probably doesn't matter because I can quest through it next round anyway. So I'll just leave it. But I think I quite possibly could do that. So, shadow cards, snowball scouts, not a problem. And that is a problem. So I'll cancel that shadow effect. Barlin. That is not a problem. Okay. So now, how much do I need to kill this Black Rider? 6. So 3, 7. I wanted Gandalf for the Hide 3 test to travel to Buckleberry Ferry, but it's not to be. And 3, 6 is enough to kill this one. I will pay the 1 Fellowship resource to keep Gildor in play. Gandalf is discarded. Steward, King. Let's have Gandalf. Now let's play Build a Pony for free since I control Sam. And I think that'll be it. Over here, let's discard Calabrian Stone to draw the card Laristor. Okay. Let's put an Ancient Malum onto the stock road. So, let's see. There's 3 threats in the staging area. Let's quest for 5, 8, 11. I could do more. Let's also send Sam. 14. Reveal. So there are no engaged Nazguls, so it's going to Surge. Peril Hides 2. Okay. This is not actually a problem. So I'll take the hide test, and I will send no one on the hide test. No, wait. I can't fail a hide test because of this. Right, so I could use Frodo to shuffle it away, but there aren't that many cards left in the encounter deck, so let's send Merry and Frodo for 4. So that's fine. The test is passed and Pippin does not have to be discarded. And the second card of staging is this, Surge. There are no Nazgul enemies in play, so it does nothing, but it still surges. Piercing Cry, okay. So what is the one card remaining in the encounter deck is an Evil Crow, not a Nazgul. So I could get one out of the discard pile. Or I could cancel this, since this is the second player's card. I think I'm just going to cancel it. So, we quested for 14 against 3, so this is very cleared. Let's draw 3 cards. And now I can travel to Buckleberry Ferry. I have to make a hide 3 test to travel here, on which I will send everyone. So that's 3, 5, 7, 10, 11 willpower. And we discard reshuffling in the middle, 2 threat. So I've successfully travelled to Buckleberry Ferry. And all is well. Okay, under the circumstances, I'm going to pay 3 spirit resources to lower my threat by 6. And then I'm going to pay 1 to sneak attack Gandalf and lower my threat by 5. Frodo comes over here. Since I don't have Shadow of the Past, I will pay the Fellowship resource to hold on to Gildor. And Control N. Oh, there's Shadow of the Past. Right, so Steward and King. Let's take Arwen and discard the Northern Tracker. And all I need to do now is quest to victory. So let's see, let's play Arwen. And Faramir. And over here, let's see. Well, I want 1 for sneak attack Gandalf. Let's play Good Harvest. Naming Fellowship again. Oh yeah, it only costs 2. So I can draw 3 cards. And also get willpower. Could do it again. Kind of want to play Out of the Wild though. So I'm going to do that. Out of the Wild. Top 5 cards. None of these are particularly bad. I'll just take this out because it surges. Well, because it does nothing when it surges, so whatever. Doesn't really matter. So we get into the quest phase, and I'll sneak attack Gandalf, and lower my threat by 5. The staging area is empty, so let's quest for 5, 8, 11, 14, 18, 21, 23, keeping characters back, some characters back in case of hide tests. No hide tests. So we quested for 23 against 5. Buckleberry Ferry is explored, and so we win the game. 7 completed rounds. Yeah, getting over the initial bump of Nazgul and hide tests is the challenging part. Once you've dealt with that, it all gets fairly okay. So, having completed the quest, we flip over the campaign card. Choose Gandalf's Delay or the ring draws them and add it to the campaign pool, then choose Gildor Inglorian or Mr. Underhill and add it to the campaign pool. The chosen cards have been earned by the players. The ferry boat moved slowly across the water. The Buckland shore drew nearer. Sam was the only member of the party who had not been over the river before. He had a strange feeling as the slow, gurgling stream slipped by. His old life lay behind in the mists. Dark adventure lay in front. He scratched his head, and for a moment had a passing wish that Mr. Frodo could have gone on living quietly at Bag End. So, let's see. Victory display. So I can choose between Mr. Underhill and Gildor, and oh no, wait, it's in the discard pile, isn't it? And between Ring draws them and Gandalf's Delay. Now, opinions vary on these. So essentially, we have two static things. Start with one less card in the starting hand, and can cancel attacks. And two things which are shuffled into the encounter deck, an objective ally, and Nasty Treachery. But then, the thing is, you shuffle a Treachery into the encounter deck, you're not necessarily going to see it. You can cancel it. It could go as a shadow card and it doesn't have a shadow effect. So, I'm always kind of tempted by that, as opposed to starting with less cards. And then cancelling attacks is all well and good, but you have to plan really to be able to handle the attacks you'll be facing. Whereas Gildor, of course, I mean, for one thing, he can help you take those attacks. He can come into play, defend, be destroyed, and then you play Shadow of the Past and put him back, which is one of my favourite tricks, to recycle objective allies like that. So, while these are certainly not the choices that a lot of people would make, I know, I personally am going to go for these two. I mean, I have more mixed feelings about the choice between the Ring draws them and Gandalf's Delay. Because, I mean, I can have enough card draw to easily overcome starting with one less card. Though, of course, it's a faff to deal with in Octagon, which is a point in favour of taking the other option for me. And, yeah, this doesn't necessarily bother me. So, I'll be taking these two cards into my campaign pool. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. I hope you'll come back for the next one when I will be continuing my campaign.